Good evening, good night, and good morning to some of you. I greet each and every one of you that might have time to join us this night, depending wherever you're watching us from. Right now, streaming live on YouTube, live on different pages of Facebook, live on Twitter, and so many platforms. So you are welcome to join this program today so that we can able to dissect some certain thing that is going on in our midst. My name is Mazi Innocent Ngendelme Emmanuel, a bona fide active member of IPUB, and I welcome you. And as I do so, I encourage you to welcome your brother, welcome your sister, wherever you can. Program one video kita actually bido by kind of advice. Can you some of our members advice? Stop imagine it not try any discussion about our leader. Discussing about our leader, and some of them, good evening, brother, and some of them will fall into trap. A lot of things is going on. A lot of things is going on right now as we speak. So the advice I'm giving to some people is to stop discussing about our leader. It is better that you use your data to talk about the thing that is going on in damnable Zoological Republic of Nigeria today, because as we know, we have war at hand. Eastern Security Network has been placed in order to defend our land, to defend our mothers, defend our sisters. And who are the people that made this happen? It's the indigenous people of the Afro, IPUB. So some brothers trying to seek for relevance. It doesn't make sense, because why trying to do that? Why trying to do that? You will fall into trap. Our leader Mazen Nnamdi Kanu have said it several times on his phonics program, which he normally does every Friday. That he said, I don't need your greetings. Just go straight to the point and contribute on the matters at hand. The Fulani Janjaweed are doing everything humanly possible in order to wipe us away in this face of earth. That's what I'm saying now. Their brothers all over the world are contributing money, trying to make sure that the Islamization agenda is complete in Nigeria, because Nigeria as it is today, officially, is recognized as a Muslim state. It's there in their fraudulent constitution. So what they are doing right now is to practically make it possible in order to actualize the dream. Most of you watch the video of a Fulani man who reside in America, where he was saying that the people who have already been blessed with wealth, that they should support the Dahawa. He said it. The GoFundMe Dahawa, that they should support it in order to do what? To use the money that the soldiers are already on the ground, telling him, when are you going to come? When are you going to come? You know what I'm saying now? This happened about 2-3 years ago. It happens about 2-3 years ago. So some of our brothers in IPOB, instead of them using the data that they have to spread the gospel of the redemption, the gospel of the restoration of Biafra, they are using it to try to look for relevant, and some of them fall trap. Yes, I'm saying now. Some of them fall trap. It's better you forget about it. Our leader said, do not entice me. The time will come. The time will come when all of these things will be happening. But right now, we need to fight this war. That's what I'm saying now. So it's an advice. Advice can afford them kind. That's what I'm saying now. Another thing that I want to say is for them also to stop discussing about the people who have been expelled from IPOB. Now they can say, no matter who you think you are, no matter the kind of contribution that you think you are bringing to the struggle, that will not stop you to be expelled from the struggle, because you're not better than those people that have died. You're not better than those people who have died, who have sacrificed their life. So instead of you trying to build cabal in IPOB, you better get the fuck out. That's what I'm saying now. So why trying to discuss about the people who have been expelled? That's what I'm saying now. You can do that the first time that you heard the news, to talk about the things that you feel, or in the case of the person like Uchimofo. I am the one of the people who made a program concerning Uchimofo, and I have not done that. If you watch my program that I've done recently, I have not discussed anything about him anymore. I don't have time to do that. It's a distraction. There's something now. It's a distraction to the struggle. The Biafra restoration is at stake. And we must do everything humanly possible in order to do what? To accomplish what we started. So going about discussing about the people who have been expelled in the struggle, you are doing yourself a great deal of harm to yourself. That's what I'm saying now. Because this public and media war that we are fighting, never you thought that they are not different from the politics. But the question is, what part of politics do you belong to? What part of politics do you belong to? Are you in the politics of the gingerweed for what you can benefit from them, or to seek attention from them? Or are you in the part of politics to liberate your people and to restore our motherland? And so I'm saying now, this is the reason why I'm just going to say a few things, because the main program that I will do here, it's about this book here. So Chinua Achebe. This is the main reason why that I want to come out, because there are a lot of things that we have to pick up from here. So I just want to drop a few things before I continue. You understand what I'm saying now? So we are fighting a media war. At the same time, we are politicians. Being politicians, what part of politics are you from? Are you going to keep on discussing about people who have been expelled from the struggle? Or are you going to move forward? Are you going to depend on the people who have been expelled from the struggle because they are what? A stumbling block in our struggle? Or are you going to move forward? When somebody has been expelled and you find out that has happened, you can make your first program and that's it. You move forward. That's what I'm saying now. If you don't want to make any program about a person, you move forward. Our leaders say us, we men, anyị nwabụ ụmụ nwoke na-akụ asịrị karịsịa ụmụ nwanyị. Look at what is going on in social media. The time that you have to discuss about all this rubbish, you're doing yourself a great harm, because let me tell you what they're doing to yourself. You'll be discussing about it, you will not know when you will do what? You fall into trap. And once you fall into trap, people are listening. You know what I'm saying? And as a politician in the Biafra restoration, once you say anything contrary to what we are doing, there are people who are keeping the records. There are people whom the job is to be on social media 247, checking everybody who is a member of IPOB, what you are doing, being a media presenter. You know what I'm saying now? So it will do you a good if most of you who are listening to me, or most of the people who will listen to this program later in the day, it will do you a great deal of good to stop discussing about the people who have been expelled, and again, stop discussing about our leader. Stop discussing about our leader. Some people are making program and asking if our leader is he's been, if he has been, I don't even know how to say it. I don't even know how to say it, because I can't say it. I want to make you queer. You're doing yourself a great harm. I'm telling you. In a moment, because you make it a yaman we eju edaba. You make it do yaman we eju megini eji daba. Okaragu money megini. You opu ake when ofe. Okamani opu ake when ofe. They discuss about our people, how we can able to bring our people more closer to what we're doing. That the Eastern Security Network has been launched is here to save our people. And that is the best Christmas gift that we have ever had for a very long time. This is live presentation. This is live presentation today, the 30th of December 2020. And my name is Mazi Innocent Nkendelem Emmanuel, a member of IPOB, and I believe that you are also a member of IPOB too. So, I'm going to start from this book because I ordered for this book. The day I ordered for this book. I just ordered for this book. That was the day some of our comrades had a program with Simon Edman, a lady who's from America, and a lot of professors. Most of you know about it. And Prof. Lumumba was supposed to be on that program as well, but he could not be there. But at the same time, we have a great professor from Biafra land. So a lot of them are prominent Biafrans who have written a lot of books. So there are a lot of books to be read, because if you listen to that program, there's a lot of things that you must learn. So I decided to first of all start with this book, because it had things to do with our history. That's what I'm saying now. It has things to do with our history. There are a lot of books, but I just decided to do it because I will be much more interested in it while reading it on the online, and then trying to meditate on it. You understand? This is how I do my own thing. So you're welcome to join me if you have not. So and this is the second reading that I started. If you go to my YouTube, you will see the one that I made for the first time. You understand? I started from the introduction and the from introduction to meeting Christy and her family. So today we are going to start from discovering things fall apart to the the march to independence. And you believe with me that it's a dream come true for us this time, because discovering things fall apart and the march to our independence, which is what we are in right now. So I'm going to start now saying that soon after this educational encounter with my future father-in-law, I moved to Lagos to interview for a new position at the headquarters of what was now called the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, NBC. The talk department hired me to move over scripts and prepare them for broadcast. A tedious job, it nevertheless honed my skill for writing realized dialogue, a gift that a gift that I gratefully tapped into when writing my novels. In my second or third year at University College Ibadan, I had offered two short stories, Polar Undergraduate and Marriage is a Private Affair. To the University Herald, the campus magazine, they were accepted and published. I published other stories during that time, including The Old Order in Conflict with the New and Dead Man's Part. In my third year, I was invited to join the editorial committee of the journal. A bit later, I became the magazine editor. At the University College Ibadan, I was in the contact with instructors of literature, of religion, and of his history who had spent several years teaching in England. Studying religions was new to me and interesting because the focus went beyond Christian dialogue to encompass wider scholarship. West African religion. One of my professors in the Department of Religion, Dr. Parinda, was a piano in the area. He had done extensive research in West African religions and cosmology, particularly in Dahomey, present-day Republic of Benin. For the first time, I was able to see the system, including my own, compares and place it side by side, which was really exciting. I also encountered another professor, James Wells, in that department, an extraordinary man who had been champion to King George II, chaplain to the BBC, and all kinds of high power things before he came to University College Ibadan. My professors were excellent people and excellent teachers, but they were not always the ones I needed. James Walsh said to me, "We may not be able to teach you what you need or what you want. We can only teach you what we know." I thought that I thought that was wonderful. Well, help me understand that they were not sent there to translate their knowledge to me in a way that will help me channel my creative energies to tell my story of Africa, my story of Nigeria, the story of myself. I learned, if I may put it simply, that my story had to come from within me. Finding that inner creative spark required introspection, deep personal structures, and connection. And this was not something anybody could really teach me. I have written elsewhere of how I felt when I entered a short story competition in the Department of English, and how my teachers who and how my teachers I beg your pardon. I missed my line. I'm sorry about that, please. Mhm. I have written elsewhere of how I fared when I entered a short story competition in the Department of English, and how my teacher who survived this competition announced the result, which was that nobody who entered the competition was good enough. I was more or less singled out as someone with some promise, but the story I submitted lacked form. Understandably, I wanted to find out more about the professor meant by form. It seems to me that here was some secret competence that I needed to be taught. But when I then apply some pressure on this professor to explain to me what form was, it was clear that she was not prepared, that she could not explain it to me, and it dawned on me that despite her excellent mind and background, she was not she was not capable of teaching across culture from her English culture to me. It was in these circumstances that I was moved to put down on paper the story that I became things fall apart. I was conscripted by the story, and I was writing it all time. Whenever there was any opinion, it felt like a sentence, an imprisonment of creativity. Through it all, I did not neglect the employment for which I earned a salary. Additionally, promotion came at NBC, and very shifty, particularly after most of the British returned to England. I was appointed director of external broadcasting. I worked on my writing mostly at night. I was seized by the story, and I found myself totally ensconced in it. It was almost like living in a para in a parallel realms, a dual existence, not in any negative sense, but in the way a hand had two surfaces, united in a purpose but very different in tone, appearance, character, and structure. I had, in essence, discovered the writer's life, one that exists in the world of the page of his or her story, and then seamlessly step into the realities of everyday's life. The scribbling finally grew into a manuscript. I wanted to have not just a good manuscript, but a good looking manuscript, because it seems to me that that will help to draw readers and publishers' attention to the work. So I decided on the strength of a recommendation of an advertisement in a British magazine or journal that described a company's ability to transform a manuscript through typing into an attractive document, send it off for publishing. What I did next in restructurings was quite naive, even foolish. I put my handwriting document together, went to the post office, and I had them parcel the only copy of the manuscript I had to the London address of the high recommendation typing agency that was in the business of manuscript preparation. I later came from this agency after a few weeks. They confirmed that they had been received my document and wrote that the next thing I should do was send them £32, which was the cost of producing my manuscript. Now, £32 was a lot of money in 1956 and a significant slice of my salary, but I was encouraged by the fact that I had received this information, this feedback, and that the people sounded as if they were going to be of great value to me. So I sent off the payment as instructed. What happened next was a near catastrophe. The typing agency, obviously having received the money I sent, went silent. 1 week passed, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, and I began to panic. I wrote 2 letters inquiring about the status of the manuscript preparation, and I got no answer. One had a great deal of confidence and faith in the British system that we had grown up in, a confidence and faith in British institution. I'm going to pause it here. I'm going to pause it here because, you see, having a great confidence in the institution of British, and this is exactly what kept us here today. This is what we are struggling to move away. That's what I'm saying now. So they are not your friend. They are not your friend. One trusted that things would get where they were sent. Postal theft, tampering, or loss of document were unheard of today. Today one would not even contemplate sending off material of importance to reading either abroad or even locally by mail. The good look was that at that point in my career, I was working very closely with a British former BBC talk producer, Angela Bietri. Bietri was second to the Nigerian Broadcasting Corporation, for which she served as head of our two-person department. I'm going to put, because I'm going to make a research about this name. So, she was the head of the talk, and I was the talks producer. And we had a secretary, I believe also from the BBC. It was to Beatrice what I now went to and told my story about a British typing agency. Miss Angela Beatrice was shocked. She was a nonsense person. Give me their names an address, she insisted. Fortunately, she was about to go to London on leave, so she became the perfect vehicle to carry my Andrews to the typing in London. And she did it in her distinctive way. She arrived at the office of the typing agency and asked to speak to the manager, who showed up shiftily. Angela Betty asked the manager sternly what she had done with the manuscript that her colleague in Lagos, Nigeria, had sent. Here, right before them, and quit a threat, was a well-connected woman who would really make trouble for them. The people there, the people there were surprised and shocked. Now I'm going back to Nigeria in 3 weeks, Angela Biarritz said, as she left the agency's office. And when I get there, let us hope that the manuscript you took money from prepare has been received by its owner, or else you will hear more about it. A few weeks later, I received a handsome package in the mail. It was my manuscript. I look back now at those events and state category that had the manuscript been lost, I most certainly would have been irreversibly discouraged from continuing my writing career. Later that year, in that fall of 1956 or thereabout, I was selected to travel to the British Broadcasting Corporation School in London, where a staff was trained. BC Ohabanjo, a good friend of mine and the future governor of Ondo State, sorry, I beg your pardon, of Ogun State. I repeat, BC Onabanjo, a good friend of mine and the future governor of Ogun State, was also among the small group of Nigerians attending this course. I had not up to this time traveled outside Nigeria. In those days, such trips were done by boat, as commercial air flights from Lagos were not commonplace. London was a brand new and pleasant experience. I took advantage technically producing a skill course during my time at BBC Staff School, and in between my class was able to take in the sight and sound of London, a city that remains one of my favorite international capitals. I took along my manuscript, hoping to bump into a number of writers and publishers who would provide me with some advice about how best to get the book published. I was fortunate to meet and make the acquaintance of Gilbert Phelps, a British writer who read the manuscript and was quite enthusiastic about its literature merits and prospects for publication. When Mr. Health kindly suggested that I hand over the manuscript to him to pass on to the some publisher he knew, I hesitated and told him that I needed some more time to work on the novel. I was still wondering whether to publish it in the 3 parts or divide the work into 3 separate books. About a year later, I wrote Gilbert Helps and informed him that my novel Things Fall Apart was ready, and he happily sent the manuscript. Up to a number of publishers, there were several of instant rejection. Some did not even bother to read it, joyously by their impression that a book with the African backup had no meta ability. Some of the respondents found the very concept of an African novel amusing. The book's fortune changed when it go into the hand of Alan Hill and Donald McRae, executive of Hyman. McRae had extensively experience traveling throughout Africa and encouraged the Hyman to publish the novel with a powerful recommendation. This is the best first novel I have read since the war. It was under Alan Hill guidance that Things Fall Apart received immediate and consistent support. The initial publication run from Hyman was 2,000 hard copy. Things Fall Apart got some of its earliest enthusement and position review from Canada, where critics such as G.D. Killam and novelist Jean Margaret Lawrence embraced it. Later, the post-colonial literacy crisis Bill Ashcroft, Gerard Griffith, and Helen Tiffin helped introduce the book into the Australian and British literacy establishment. Michael Deville, Bent Linford, Priscilla Tyler, Charles Larson, and Katrina Lynetta Innes were some of the first intellectuals in America to pick up the novel and present it to an American audience. In England, the book received positive reviews from the Observer, Time and Tide, and the Time Literacy Supplement, among other publications, but not all the reviews were as kind of positive. Some failed to understand the point of African literature and what I and others were trying to achieve by telling our own story. It did the work a great deal of good, however, that the, the distinguished novelist Agnes Wilson and the well-represented literature crisis Walter Allen wrote positively about my first novel. In Nigeria, there was a mixed bag of response. Some of my old teachers at Ibadan found the idea of my publishing a novel charming, but many African intellectuals saw both literacy and political merit in the work. When I wrote Things Fall Apart in Ibadan to understand the value my traditional Igbo history in even more, I am to suggesting that I was an expert in the history of the world. I was very young man. I knew I had a story, but how it fit into the world of the world. I really had no sense of that. After a while, I began to understand why the book had resonance. Its meaning for my Igbo people was clear to me, but I didn't know how other people elsewhere would respond to it. Did it have any meaning or relevant for me? I realized that it did when, to give just one example, the whole class of the girls' college in South Korea wrote to me, and each one expressed an opinion about about the book. And then I learned something. They had a history that was similar to the story of things fall apart. The story of colonization. This I didn't know before. Their colonizer was Japan. So these people across the water were able to relate to the story of dispossession in Africa. People from different parts of the world can respond to the same story if it says something to them about their own history and their own experience. Now we're going to read Lucky Generation. Lucky Generation. So, like I said, this book have a lot of things to do with has a lot of things to do with the current situation that we are right now as a people, because things has fallen apart. Yeah, but this generation today is the generation that will um, restore the dignity of the Afra, the Igbo, and the rest of African. So this is a perfect time to read and understand this book. Now we're going to read from the Lucky Generation. The Lucky Generation. It was often been said that my generation was a very lucky one, and I agreed. My lucky was actually quite extraordinary, and it began quite early. The pace of change in Nigeria from the 1940s was incredible. I am not just talking about the rate of development, with villages transforming into towns, or the coming of modern comfort, such as electricity or running waters or modes of transportation, but more of a sense that we were standing figuratively and literally at the dawn of a new era. My generation was summoned, as it were, to be a witness to two remarkable transitions. The first, the aforementioned impressive economic, social, and political transformation of Nigeria into a mid-range country. At least my third world standard, but more profoundly, barely 2 decades later, we were thrust into the throes of perhaps Nigeria's greatest 20th century moment, our elevation from a colonized country to an independent nation. Now we're going to read from the March to Independence. The March to Independence. This is a live presentation today, the 30th of December 2020, and the time now it's about 44 minutes on top of the hour of wherever you are. I still remember as the innocent Kendall Emmanuel. Well, before we go more further about the independent, because that is the last part. Before I started this program, I was trying to advise our people who might one way or the other try to fall into temptation or trap, not knowing. Number one is for our family member to stop discussing about if our leader is this or that. Because the more you're discussing about those things, you're getting yourself into trouble. You don't know. Because the people who you are discussing those things with one way or the other, bring a topic. You don't know who is who. You don't know who is who. That's what I'm saying now. You don't know who is who. The person might bring one discussion and draw you into it. Then you commit yourself. Like our leader always say that in his phonics presentation every Friday, he normally does before. He said that keep your greeting. Wolu na ekene unu debe. Ekene unu. Wolu na ekene unu debe. He focus on if I name a suggestion. Go and if you think about the situation. As I'm saying now, the time for that is coming. So it's an advice. Instead of you using the data to waste on gossiping, because nna anyị ukwu si later, na ụmụ nwoke na-akọ asịrị karịsịa ụmụ nwanyị. Instead of you gossiping about the people who have been expelled from the struggle, you know what I'm saying now? Use that your time to educate people, enlighten people, try to bring our people close. So let them understand the value of the Eastern Security Network. Because the moment you begin to do that, people will begin to regard you as somebody who is fighting for his people, instead of taking your time to be gossiping your life away. That's what I'm saying now. A lot of people are in trouble as I'm talking to you right now. And this, what we are doing right now, it is a political, but what part of politics do you belong to? Do you belong in the politics that have to do with with Nigerian government, or you in the part of politics that have to do with the restoration of Biafra? What part of politics are you? And remember, most of those people who will come on the national television, like Garba Shehu, who came the other day saying that a lot of people in the world, they have problems. They have security challenges. You know what I'm saying now? So such a word is a distraction, but we take just a few out of what he said. We analyze it and push forward towards what we're doing, because all of this is a distraction. You know what I'm saying? You must not allow yourself to be distracted of what we are doing. So you don't waste your time be discussing about the people who have been expelled. If you have done that for one time, it's okay. But making it a day, use your data to discuss about the progress. Our people are in a great danger as we speak. The volunteers as we speak right now are in a very great danger. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying now? What are you doing? Why don't you use the data that you have to discuss and to tell the world that the same thing that we have as an Eastern Security Network, the same thing that Oduduwa, they have it as Omotekun, Hijbab in the north, they have it. That's what I'm saying now. Even Kaduna, they just launched a community police. A community police that they were running around talking about that before we can have Eastern Security, we can have a regional police, that the constitution must be amended. A part of Kaduna State just launched their security. You also saying that we as the indigenous people of Biafra have automatically restructured Nigeria. That's what I'm saying. But this is not what we're doing. This is not what we're looking. Our main goal is to restore Biafra so that we can march into our independence. We can march into independence without hoping on anybody. That's what I'm saying now. So you better stop discussing about the people who have been expelled. I am one of the people who first of all made a program about Uchimofo. But ever since I've not done that. The reason why I am giving this advice to some of our brothers who are watching this or who might watch it later, so let's be talking about marching into our independence. So, but the main program is reading from Chinua Achebe. There was a country, and so I'm saying now, there was a country. I'm not privileged to go to school and lie about that. You understand what I'm saying now? When I was in school, I'm a book class. But you know, we are what we are. That's what I'm saying now. We are what we are. So, reading books, this is my second book that I've imagined. This is my second book I've been reading since. And even the one that I even read, I didn't finish it up. The first book that I read says that things about life and the rest of them. But this is the first book to read about history. And I encourage you, if you did not watch the program that some of our professors had with the Simon Epa, I think 2 months ago, that this program was supposed to hold, including Prophet Lumumba, but because he could not make it, we have a lot of professors and a lot of people, a lot of Biafrans that attended that program. They wrote a lot of books. So I decided to start from There Was a Country, because you must know where you come from, what you are fighting for. You know what I'm saying now? We have heard a lot of things. We have heard a lot of things from our leader. He has taught us a lot of things. But when you do the research by yourself, read the books by yourself, it will impact more. So let's all discuss our march to independence instead of gossiping our life away. Instead of gossiping our life away. So we're going to read Marching to Independence from from Chinua Achebe, There Was a Country. So when I finish this book, I'm going to order for more, and this is how I'm going to do it. You understand what I'm saying now? And this is how I love to do it, because when I do this, na agụrụ akwụkwọ abụrụ na nka, na agụrụ akwụkwọ abụrụ na anụ grama. You understand what I'm saying now? Na agụrụ akwụkwọ abụrụ na anụ grama. So gịnị ka a na-agụ? Anyị nwenye enwe n'ime anyị. So myself si na m agụrụ akwụkwọ is just na aghọrị onwe m. Ka gịnị bụ ịbịa na Germany, in Germany ebe anọ, what they use here is their language, their local language. This is what they use, their local language. They start from the kindergarten to learn how to speak their language. So when they enroll in the primary one, it will be easier for them. So imagine, ndacha batara na be anyị, si anyị na asụsụ anyị bụ vernacular. Pa batara na be anyị, si anyị na asụsụ anyị bụ vernacular. Pa na-teach anyị their language, na-teach anyị their culture, na-teach anyị about their geography. You know what I'm saying now? So I encourage you to go and read this. It's very important. Na-teach anyị about their geography. A madman have to do what? How he came to listen to what they're saying, and he snapped the chalk out of the teacher, the geography teacher, because the geography teacher was busy teaching about the Great Britain geography instead of teaching about our own geography in our own land. You know what I'm saying now? The Batman took the chalk out of him, and he began to teach the populace about the Ogidi town. It is here in this book. You know what I'm saying now? And the white man did not do nothing. Why would he do anything? He can't do nothing. He cannot do nothing because he knows that what he's doing is very wrong. All money for made beginning, not the very wrong. So if you forget that now, even a madman is even more wiser than all these flavor. That's what I'm saying now. We have one, a political madman, whom we thought that he's insane, but that man is practically perfect in everything that he's saying. You know what I'm saying now? So we have to be wise up. Let us focus on the independence that we're about to embrace. Because restoring Biafra, this our generation restoring Biafra, it's a great deal and honor to most of us who will be among the people that will be there. So stop gossiping. Stop gossiping. Stop gossiping. So I'm going to read from the last page, which is the March to Independence, and after that we call it a wrap. It's not just about the page. It's just about the page. So I goes on. The March to Independence. The general feelings in the air and as independence approached was extraordinary, like the building anticipation of the relief of torrential rains after a season of scorching hot harmattan winds and bushfires. We are all looking forward to feeling the joy that India, the great jewel of the British Empire, must have left in 1948. The joy that Ghana must have left years later in 1957. We had no doubt where we are going. We were going to inherit our freedom. That was all that matters. The possibility for us were ending at last too. So it seems at the time Nigeria was enveloped by a certain assurance of an unbreaked destiny, of an overwhelming excitement about lives promising unbothered by any knowledge of providence intended destination. Ghana was a particularly relevant example for us subject in the remaining colonies and dominions of the British Empire. There was a growing confidence, not just a feeling, that we would do just as well parting ways with Her Majesty's Empire. If Ghana seems more of effective, as some of our people like to say, perhaps it was because she was smaller in size and neat, as if it was tied together more delicately by well-groomed expert hand. So we had in 1957 an extraordinary event. I remember it vividly. It was not a Nigeria event. Ghana 300 or more miles away from us, but we saw her success as ours as well. I remember celebrating with Ghanaians and Nigerian friends in Lagos all night on the eve of Ghana's independence from Britain. Ecstatic for our yellow Africa, of our fellow Africa by to work up the next morning to find that we were still in Nigeria. Ghana had made it, leaving us all behind, but our day came finally 3 years after ours. Now, let it be said, there was a subtle competition between the two countries. There was a sense in which one could say that Ghana and Nigeria resented each other and competed for supremacy in every sphere: politics, academic, sports, you name it. It is possible that Nigeria were less accurate in thinking of our rival neighbor as being perhaps too small to matter. Of course, Ghanaians came right back by saying that Nigeria is bigger than Ghana in a way in which three three pence were bigger than sixpence. If one were to look at the various domination of coins in those days, one will discover that three pence was very huge, much larger than sixpence, and the quality of metal used in making the smaller denomination was clearly of inferior value and had less purchasing power in marketplace. Where it mattered most, so the relationship between Ghana and Nigeria has always been very important. Ghana nationalists were heavily influenced by their Nigerian counterparts. The father of African independence was Azikiwe. There is no question at all about that. Azikiwe fondly referred to by his admirers as Zik, was the preeminent political figure of my youth, and a man who was endowed with the political Pan-Africanist vision. He had helped, no doubt, from several eminent sons and daughters of the Oyu. When Azikiwe came back from his university study in the United States of America in 1934 or thereabout, he did not return to Onitsha, his hometown. He settled in the first in Accra in Gold Coast, present-day Ghana, where he worked as the editor of the African Morning Post as New Delhi newspaper. There were stories of inter-ethnic friction in the Gold Coast, so he moved to Lagos despite initial problems in Ghana. Akiwe had acquired admirers, especially young aspirant freedom fighters, including Kwame Nkrumah. The greatest of them all, Nkrumah, was still a student in Ghana, but he was motivated to go to America to study, largely as a result of Azikiwe's influence. Zik opened the historical Black college in the United States that he attended, Lincoln University to other West African and Nigerian. Quite a number of young Africans who left the country for America did so because of Zik. It didn't hurt that Zik wrote glowingly about America in his newspaper at class on almost a daily post. America, you see, seems to a number of those young people to provide an escape from the chains of colonialism. Soon after Azikiwe arrived in Lagos, he established his own paper, the West African Pilots. At this time, there were 2 or 3 families of newspaper. Azikiwe and an even older group from Freetown, Sierra Leone, the Accra Herald from the Gold Coast, the Angola Africa, Iwe Iborin, a prominent Yoruba newspaper in Lagos, and Herbert Macaulay's, the Daily News. These newspapers had different traditions. They used to be a joke about the quality of newspaper that were founded by aristocratic logicians. Some of these papers went out of their way to be highbrow in was said that occasionally large chunks of the editorial also were written in Latin. In contrast to this competition, Azikiwe's newspaper was written in accessible, stripped-down English. The type of proof educated members of society often sneaked out there, and that was Azikiwe's intention, to speak directly to the masses. His strategy was an incredibly success. The West African Pilots' anti-colonial message was spread very quickly, widely, and effectively. From the time of its establishment through the 1940s and 1950s, the West African Pilot was most influenced publication of its type throughout British West Africa, from Sierra Leone through Ghana to Nigeria. Azikiwe wanted to remain financially autonomous from the British, So he established the African Continental Bank in 1944 and invited wealthy and influenced Nigeria such as Sir Lois Odumegwu Ojukwu to join the board. Azikiwe also started newspaper outposts in Lagos, Ibadan, Kano, Port Harcourt, and the market town of Onitsha. I remember in particular that traders of Onitsha and other markets throughout Nigeria realized the West African Pilot Daily political analysis and editorial mainly learned to read with the help of the pilot. The traders in their eagerness to read Azikiwe's papers often ignore early morning customers who visited their stores. The West African pilot served other purposes. It became the nurturing ground for top journalism and future political talent. Anthony Enaro, who became the paper's editors, and Akin Nola Lasekan, the legendary political cartoonist, are just two examples that came to mind. The West African pilot enjoyed an exponential level of commercial as well as critical success after its supposed, I beg your pardon, African pilot enjoyed an exponential level of commercial as well as critical success after it supported shrinking Nigerian workers against the British government in 1940s. Its circulation was in the tens of thousands. That was an outstanding achievement for its time. Thank you very much. At least we have understand that Zeke was the pilot of Nigerian independence. He is one of the people who are like, this is what our leader have been saying. The people who are ruling Nigeria today never wanted freedom because they are not educated, they are not buoyant enough, they don't have what it takes. So Zeke of Africa, he had in mind to do what? For our people to have freedom. But you can see, because of bankrupt and the selfish interest, he decided to do what? To betray our people. He decided to do what? To betray our people. He decided to betray our people. You know what I'm saying now? He decided to betray our people. So this is the end of this program this night, this morning, or this afternoon, depending on wherever you're watching me from. I thank you very much for joining me on this program concerning the truth behind what we pass through, and we've been doing it. So I encourage you to visit my page, share this program, because we're going to finish this book, and when I finish this book, I'm going to order for another one. When I finish this book, I'm going to order for another one. But you are also welcome to go and buy it. You understand? There are a lot of books written by Chinua Achebe. There are a lot of books written by Chinua Achebe, which is very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Onye amara ebe mmiri so ebido mabiara ma ebe o si eme gịnị o si ama wa kwụsị. Thank you very much. I still remember as Innocent Manuel, one of our active member of IPUB. Thank you very much. But remember what I said. Stop discussing about our leader. The time to celebrating is not now. The time to celebrating is when we have our freedom. Right now, we are marching towards our independence once again. We are marching into our freedom once again. So stop discussing about our leader. Use the data to talk about the thing that is going on, because he has said it several times on his phonics presentation. He said, wele ekenego debe nso. Wele ekenego debe nso. What even GM? You know what I'm saying now? Contribute into the struggle. He contribute into the struggle. That need nekene, because the world are listening. That's what I'm saying now. The world are listening. So kai kude basari. Kai kmeruni, kai kude basari. Kai kude basari. We have a lot of enemies. We have a lot of enemies that we are fighting. And it's only indigenous people of Africa are the ones fighting these monsters. You know what I'm saying now? We have more than 47 foreign ambassadors in Nigeria who did not use their diplomatic or high level of presidency to do what? To do what? To talk about the thing that is going on in Nigeria, because all of them have been eaten, all of them have been bribed, so they cannot discuss it. So we are fighting a lot of, the whole world is against us. If you don't know that, the whole world, there is no country that you will find, you will go today that you don't find a diplomat representing our country in that country. What is their job? Their job to report whatever that is going on in that country, so that the world can understand what is going on. Nobody knows what is going on in Nigeria because of what? Because all this country, they keep mute. It's only IPOB who are fighting these people. So why are you wasting your time? Why are you wasting your time discussing about people who have been expelled? Why are you wasting your time discussing about people when you saw somebody that this person is not truly his, because by their mouth you shall know them. When you see that this person is not being truthful, you may what? Just you may be feeling. You may be feeling. If you don't know what to do, go and order for book. If you have reading this book, there are a lot of books. Go to Simon Achebe. There is a program that Simon Achebe made, I think last month, with professors, a lot of professors from Biafra land. They wrote a lot of books. Go and that program that we're supposed to hold with Professor Lumumba. That's what I'm saying now. That program is very, very important. Go and search for that program. There are a lot of books. I just decided to start with this one. That's what I'm saying now. And I will read and have knowledge. Because the only way that the white man can hide some secret from we Africans is through books. That's what I'm saying now. So stop wasting your time. Support the Eastern Security Network. Speak about the impunity against our people. Speak against the impunity against our people. That's what I'm saying now. What we have as Eastern Security Network, Yorubas, they have it. In the north, they have it, including several terrorists. Talk about the things that is going on. Use your platform, use your data. Stop wasting your time on gossip. So I thank you very much. I thank you very much for joining this program. And make sure you share it. Thank you for your like. Thank you for your comments. Haters of IPOB, you are also welcome. Haters of Biafra, you are also welcome. Haters, enemies of progress, you are also welcome. There's something now. You are also welcome. One day you will be safe. If you're not safe, thank you very much and good night.